Hi Sagittarius, welcome back to my channel Tarot Z. I'm Z and I'm going to be doing your tarot reading, finding out what are the messages or the cards that come out in this reading for you today. Thank you so much for joining and for being here for the reading. So let's begin. Let's find out what cards come out, what messages come through with the cards that do come out in this reading. So the first card we have is the Five of Swords in the reverse. We have some air sign energy with us. We could be dealing with a Libra or even a Gemini or an Aquarius. And we have the Hermit. We have some Virgo energy. Could also be dealing with Virgo. And we've got the Page of Cups. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Star card. And we also have some Aquarius energy with this too. So with the Star card showing up here at the bottom of the deck, this feels like a very positive mindset to be going into things with. I do feel like there's a sense of optimism when it comes to the outlook on the situation and even on the future of things. I do feel like with the Star card, this also feels like an energy of feeling connected on a very deep level. This does feel like having a connection that does feel like when it comes to how it's making somebody feel, they do feel connected in a way that does feel like it's significant. It feels like it's very deep. I do feel like it could even be a spiritual connection. I do feel like with the Star card, this also feels like an energy of there could be distance over here between yourself and somebody, but this does feel like an energy of someone who's in a space where they're really longing for you. I do feel like it's like they're really missing you in that case. With the Star card, this also feels like an energy of really holding someone in higher regards and seeing them in the best light possible, having a hard time seeing any downsides to somebody. So I do feel like there's a sense of actually being in a very inspired state when it comes to a situation or connection. It's evoking those types of feelings. With the Five of Swords show up in the reverse, this does feel like a very regretful energy. I do feel like there's a sense of somebody who's in a space where it's like it's hitting them that they may have handled something in the wrong way or in a way that wasn't the best way that they could, as far as the way that they conducted themselves or what they said. They could have actually said something that they didn't mean. But with this Five of Swords showing up in the reverse, this feels like a very remorseful energy. So I do feel like this person kind of being in a space where it's starting to really weigh on them and they're conscious. I do feel like with this Five of Swords in the reverse, this does feel like an energy of someone who's feeling quite apologetic. They could actually be an apology that this person feels like they owe you, or that you feel like they owe you. This feels like an energy of someone in a space where it's like they're about to make an apology, or even be able to acknowledge and take accountability in a situation where things may have played out in a way that for this person, they may feel like things got out of hand. I do feel like with the Five of Swords in the reverse, it feels like a pretty regretful energy. I do feel like it's that they regret what they said to you or the way that they treated you in a situation. I do feel like with the Hermit card showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of really keeping to yourself. But I do feel like kind of keeping to yourself in a way that does feel like it's also you being able to pour into your own cup and be able to really do the self-care in a way that does feel like it is almost kind of like you're retreating. But I do feel like with the Hermit card showing up over here, it feels like you're spending more time by yourself. With the Hermit card showing up over here, it feels like an energy of actually even doing some soul searching. I do feel like it's contributing to a lot of growth and even a lot of learning that you are doing. I do feel like with this Hermit card showing up over here, this feels a little bit like an isolated energy or a sense of kind of being in a space where you're really enjoying being on your own in your own space. So I do feel like it's a sense of actually being able to gain a lot out of that energy, as opposed to being in a space where there's a sense of feeling like something's missing when you are in that space. I do feel like with the Hermit card showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of being able to also, when it comes to prioritizing self, I do feel like this energy is something that is looking good on you, because I do feel like there's a sense of being able to also gain some clarity in that space. I do feel like with the Page of Cups though, this feels like an energy of somebody who is in a space where they want to be able to kind of say something, make a move, or even make an offer with this Page of Cups. I do feel like there's a sense of somebody who's in a space where they aren't holding their feelings in. They're not holding what they want to say in. It's like they're ready to express something. I do feel like with the Five of Cups, the Five of Swords showing up over here in the reverse, It's like somebody is getting ready to be able to express something to you. Could be an apology. I also feel like there's a sense of somebody's in a space where it's like they're sitting with their feelings with the star card is feelings of longing for you. So I do feel like this person also being in a space of really missing you. So I'm going to clarify these cards. So we have the Judgment card. We do have some Scorpio energy with this. You could be dealing with this Scorpio. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. And we've got the Lovers card. You also have some Gemini energy with this Lovers card. And at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Knight of Cups. So with the Knight of Cups showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of somebody's coming towards you quite open. I do feel like it's like there's a sense of being very vulnerable as well, quite expressive. I do feel like, especially on an emotional level with somebody's emotions, I do feel like when it comes to being able to also, somebody is actually in a space where it's like they're approaching you. So this could even be somebody new. I do feel like with this Judgment card showing up over here though, this does feel like an energy of someone who's in a space where they're desiring a second chance, hoping that you give them a second chance. I do feel like this person being in a space where it's like a lot of that is coming from being in a space where they actually feeling quite guilty. I do feel like with this Judgment card, this also feels like an energy of being able to actually see things a bit differently and kind of experience that awakening or realization when it comes to being able to really reflect on things. I do feel like with the Ace of Pentacles showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of being in a good space when it comes to really being able to be grounded within yourself. But I also feel like with this Ace of Pentacles, this also feels like your career also being able to be in a solid place where it feels like things are beginning to really get to a space where you're starting to gain a sense of stability. And even I do feel like with the Ace of Pentacles, this feels like doors opening in that area of your life. So this feels like also being able to experience increase or promotion in the career sense. So I do feel like also you could be kind of withdrawing because you are putting your focus more so on things like your career and your money. And I do feel like even on self as far as your personal development. And I do feel like this also being something that is garnering a lot of positive energy and results and success. With the Lovers card though showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of someone who's in a space of really viewing this connection as being one that is very, I do feel like it's very meaningful to them. I do also feel like this person wants a relationship. They wanna also be able to, I do feel like they're recognizing you as their other half, as their person. I do feel like there's a strong connection here as well. I do feel like there's also a sense of wanting to be able to really be able to salvage a connection with this Judgment card, but I also feel like there's a desire to be able to stay strong through a difficult time and be able to actually strengthen your connection and deepen it. With the Lovers card showing up over here though, this does feel like an energy of someone who's also in a space where I do feel like they're making a decision. They're ready to make a decision when it comes to this connection. They're prioritizing it. I also feel like when it comes to this connection, it isn't, they are in a space where it's like they're putting it first with this Lovers card showing up over here. And I do feel like that's also something that's going to show up in their actions. So I do feel like this person's coming towards you with an offer, with an expression, with an apology, but there's something that they're coming to give to you. I also feel that with the Star card showing up over here, this feels like an energy of this person being in a space where they're very hopeful about this connection. They're holding on to the hope. So I do feel like there is a sense of this person kind of being in a space where it's like they're being a bit vulnerable with their stance. So I'm going to clarify these cards. We have the Honeymoon card. We have Getting to Know Each Other. And we have Pay Attention to the Red Flags. So the honeymoon card showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of someone who's thinking about the good times. I do feel like there's a sense of actually kind of longing for those, and even being in a space where somebody's really appreciating those. I do feel like with this honeymoon card showing up over here, this does also feel like an energy of actually wanting to be able to create experiences within this connection with you. I do feel like there could actually be a desire to be able to do something that does feel like the energy is lighter in this connection because it's bringing you together in a way that feels enjoyable. So this does feel like there could be some plans for being able to have a trip or a vacation, or even being able to have an outing that does feel enjoyable to the both of you and does actually evoke a lot of enjoyable and pleasant emotions. I do feel like with this Five of Swords, this does feel like an energy of kind of trying to be able to come back from something that may have felt like it was a very difficult interaction or a very difficult experience. I do feel like there's a sense of kind of trying to make up for what happened from this person. But the getting to know each other card showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of being able to actually really deepen a bond through being able to get to know someone on a deeper level. I do feel like there could be conversations that do feel like they are more so open, and even open communication that feels more vulnerable. I do feel like with this getting to know each other card showing up over here, I do get it pertaining to this Knight of Cups. And with this Knight of Cups, this could be somebody coming into your life who is new. So I do feel like there could actually be a new connection here as well. And I do feel like there is the potential for a very real, genuine, and even deep bond to exist between the two of you. Because with this getting to know each other card showing up over here, you do also get that there is chemistry within being able to connect with somebody from the initial phases. And with the Ace of Pentacles, this does feel like new beginnings and new energy. I do feel like though to pay attention to red flags card showing up over here. This is really about being able to also pay attention to especially any kind of inklings or instincts that can come up when it comes to this connection, and even when it comes to the signs. I do feel like this does also feel like a cautionary energy, and I do feel like especially listening to your intuition when it comes to a connection, whether it is somebody who has shown a side of them that has put you in a position to be able to really see them in a different light with this Five of Swords in the reverse. And also feel like even with the new person, this does feel like an energy of being in a space where it's like being able to be cautious from this connection. I do feel like there is the potential to actually have a really solid and strong and even deep connection over here. But with this pay attention to red flags card showing up over here, this also feels like I do feel like it's like promoting a cautious outlook and even approach to this connection. So those are the messages I'm getting with these cards for you, Sagittarius. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, Sagittarius.